السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ یہ کتاب یہ لیجیسی آف ٹرسٹ محترم ٹی رفیق احمد صاحب اور ان کی فیملی کی جانب سے شائع کی گئی۔ یہ آپ خوب اچھی طرح جانتے ہیں، آپ میں کئی لوگوں کے پاس یہ کتاب موجود ہوگی۔ اس کتاب میں ایسی باتیں سمائی گئی ہیں جنہیں ہم سب کو سمجھنے کی ضرورت ہے۔ مرحوم ٹی عبد الواحد صاحب رحمۃ اللہ علیہ ایک ایسی شخصیت ہیں جن کے بارے میں بہت کچھ کہا جا سکتا ہے۔ جہاں تک ہمارا خیال ہے، ہم نے ایسی شخصیت کو ہمارے یہاں نہیں دیکھا ہے۔ وہ کئی شعبوں سے تعلق رکھتے تھے، انہیں ہمارے ملک اور ملت سے بہت لگاؤ تھا۔ وہ سب کی خوشحالی کے لیے کام کرنا چاہتے تھے اور کر بھی رہے تھے۔ ہم دیکھ سکتے ہیں کہ انہوں نے کیا 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 ہے۔ اس کتاب میں ان کے بارے میں ایک اچھی رپورٹ جو ہم سب کے لیے سننے کی ضرورت ہے دی گئی ہے۔ میں اس ویڈیو کے ذریعے ہمارے گروپس میں رہنے والے تمام دوست احباب سے گزارش کرتا ہوں کہ ان کے پاس بھی ایک کتاب ہوگی، اس کتاب کا مطالعہ ضرور کریں، یوں ہی گھر میں نہ رکھ دیں۔ اس کتاب کو پڑھنے کی ضرورت ہے اور جاننے کی ضرورت ہے کہ ہمارے مرحوم ٹی عبد الواحد صاحب نے ہمارے ملک و ملت کے لیے کیا 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 ہے۔ اس کے علاوہ اس ویڈیو کے ذریعے میں محترم ٹی رفیق احمد صاحب اور ان کی فیملی کا بھی شکریہ ادا کرنا چاہتا ہوں کہ یہ کتاب ہمارے پاس موجود ہے۔ ہم سب کو ہمارے بڑوں کی قدر کرنے کی ضرورت ہے اور جہاں تک ہو سکے ان کی باتوں پر عمل کرنے کی بھی ضرورت ہے۔ اسی طرح ہماری قوم آگے بڑھ سکتی ہے اور ہمارے قوم کا بھی اور ہمارے ملک کا بھی فائدہ ہو سکتا ہے۔ تو آئیے اب دیکھتے ہیں اس کتاب دی لیجیسی آف ٹرسٹ، دی لائف اینڈ ورک آف جناب ٹی عبد الواحد صاحب میں، جو کہ جناب ٹی رفیق احمد صاحب سے شائع کی گئی ہے، کیا باتیں کہی گئی ہیں۔ خدا حافظ، فی امان اللہ۔ السلام علیکم۔ یہ لیجیسی آف ٹرسٹ، دی لائف اینڈ ورک آف جناب ٹی عبد الواحد صاحب بائی ٹی رفیق احمد۔ یہ لیجیسی آف ٹرسٹ ریکارڈز دی لائف اینڈ ورک آف جناب ٹی عبد الواحد صاحب 1910 to 1998, tracing a journey shaped not by public display but by discipline, continuity, and institutional responsibility. From the early formation of a leather enterprise in Ambur to leadership roles in industry bodies, parliament, and major educational and charitable institutions, Wahid Sahib's work unfolded through steady preparation rather than sudden expansion. His approach emphasized structure over scale, governance over personality, and long-term stability over immediate gain, drawing on family records, institutional archives, and first-hand recollection. This biography places individual achievement within wider social, industrial, and civic frameworks. It examines the building of enterprises designed to function beyond personal presence, the strengthening of minority institutions through financial foresight, and a model of public responsibility exercised without rhetoric. This is not a commemorative account, but a documented record of a life organized around us in systems, in people, and in continuity, prepared in advance. Preface. This volume records the life and work of Janab T. Abdul Wahid Sahib, whose career spanned industry, public service, education, and community institutions across much of the 20th century. His activities unfolded during a period of significant transition, political, economic, and social, and were shaped by both local circumstance and global engagement. Much of this life was rooted in Ambur, a town that over time emerged as a major center of leather manufacture and Muslim enterprise in South India. Within this setting, T. Abdul Wahid Sahib played a formative role not as a solitary figure but as part of a generation of Muslim leaders who helped shape economic opportunity, institutional stability, and community organization during a period of rapid change. His work contributed to the consolidation of Ambur as an industrial town and to the strengthening of educational, charitable, and civic institutions that extended well beyond it. The purpose of this biography is not celebration but record. It seeks in document the progression of a life lived within structure, the evolution of family enterprise, the building of institutions, the assumption of public responsibility, and the steady transfer of leadership across generations. Where possible, events have been placed in chronological context and presented with attention to sequence, continuity, and consequence. The narrative draws primarily from contemporaneous records, family archives, institutional documents, and recollections preserved in source notes prepared over time. Care has been taken to distinguish between direct involvement, supervisory responsibility, and associative presence, particularly in matters relating to business, education, and public life. This is not a memoir nor an interpretative study. Personal reflections are limited to instances where they illuminate decisions, transitions, or institutional outcomes. The emphasis remains on actions taken, structures created, and responsibilities carried, rather than on character assessment or retrospective judgment. The chapters are organized thematically and chronologically, moving from early foundations through periods of expansion, challenge, and consolidation before concluding with reflections on legacy and continuity. Together, they aim to present a coherent account of a life shaped by duty, restraint, and sustained engagement. It is hoped that this work will serve both as a historical record for future generations of the family and as a reference for those interested in the development of enterprise, institutions, and community leadership during a formative period in modern Indian history. Note from T. Rafeeque Ahmed. This book was not conceived as a personal tribute, not as an exercise in recollection. It arose from a growing recognition that the life and work of Janab T. Abdul Wahid Sahib had become deeply interwoven with institutions, enterprises, and community structures whose histories were no longer preserved in a single coherent record. Over several decades, my father was involved simultaneously in industry, education, social organizations, and public life, most often without emphasis on personal recognition. Many of the institutions he helped establish, guide, or stabilize continued to function quietly, governed by systems rather than personality. As time passed, it became evident that much of this work survived only in fragments remembered by individuals, recorded in minutes or correspondence, or referred to without context. The purpose of this volume is to place on record the life and work of T. Abdul Wahid Sahib by setting events in sequence, roles in perspective, and decisions in context. It draws upon family records, institutional archives, and personal recollections of colleagues, associates, and contemporaries. Wherever possible, interpretation has been restrained in favor of chronology, structure, and continuity, allowing actions and outcomes to speak for themselves. This is not an exhaustive account, nor does it attempt to resolve any omission or inconsistency that accompanies a life lived across nearly 9 decades of social, political, and economic change. It is instead an effort to assemble a coherent record, one that reflects how responsibilities were carried, how institutions were shaped, and how continuity was valued over prominence. I have initiated this work in the hope that it will serve future generations within the family, across institutions, and among researchers as a reliable reference. If it succeeds in conveying the principles that guided my father's decisions, order, responsibility, restraint, and trust, then it will have fulfilled its purpose. Acknowledgements. This work benefited from the careful review and guidance of several members of the family who assisted with verification of dates, names, and events and helped ensure factual accuracy and fidelity to source material. In particular, I wish to record my appreciation for Karthik Murugadas, who worked closely with me throughout the preparation of this volume. He undertook primary responsibility for organizing and shaping the archival material into a coherent narrative, while also designing the book and its layout. His attention to structure, clarity, and visual coherence was central to the completion of this work. I am also grateful to H. Mahmood Akhtar and Fahmida Irfan, whose support and involvement extended across the entire process. Their familiarity with both personal and institutional histories and their readiness to review, clarify, and verify details at various stages provided an essential layer of continuity and assurance. Additional assistance was received from T. Mashkura, T. Adnan Ahmed, T. Faizan Ahmed, and K. Shahid Mansoor, who contributed as part of the family's broader review effort. Their participation helped strengthen the overall reliability of the record. The collective cooperation and support of the family made it possible to preserve, organize, and present this material with care and integrity, and are gratefully acknowledged. Every effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the material presented. Any errors or omissions are unintentional. T. Rafeeque Ahmed, Chennai.